Now at 10, get ready for another nasty mosquito season. Why experts believe this year could be worse than others. And people in Wisconsin are spending Memorial Day remembering those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 10. I'm Charlotte DeLeste. Much of the area saw rain today, and it doesn't look like it's going to be much different this week. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has the latest in his first alert forecast. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Charlotte. Well, I'm looking for good news, and I suppose that it's not going to be a continuous rain, just having periods of rain and also some periods of dry weather, and then eventually we'll tend toward dry weather at the end of next week. But right now we're looking at showers still moving through eastern Wisconsin after a day where we had high temperatures generally in the 60s, although the southwestern portion of the state saw temperatures into the 70s. But now we're seeing readings in the 50s in the northern parts of our viewing area to around 70 down near the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. And fog is starting to form, especially where those temperatures are a little bit cooler. Those Waukesha down to 3/4 mile visibility. By tomorrow morning, there'll be some areas of fog and cloudy skies. Looks like it'll be cloudy but dry for the day tomorrow with a cool high temperature of 66, but we'll see some showers and thunderstorms either late tomorrow afternoon or more likely tomorrow evening. We have an alert day in the forecast for them, and I'll explain that more in weather in a few minutes.
Thank you, Gary. You've probably already seen your first mosquito of the season, and experts predict we'll soon see a lot more. Amanda Quintana is here with more on why we could see another record-breaking year for those mosquitoes.
Yeah, well, last year we saw a huge jump in mosquito numbers around Madison, mainly because of flooding. But that means there's a big egg bank out there, and the rain we're seeing now is waking them up.
On a day like today, you might not want to be outside, not just because of the rain, but all this water is ideal for mosquitoes to develop.
It's also getting warmer, and as it gets warmer, too, they're going to start to move through their life cycle a little faster.
Although UW entomology professor Susan Paskowitz says the severity of the season is hard to predict.
It's the million-dollar question. What's going to happen with mosquitoes this year?
She expects over the next week or two, we're going to see a lot more mosquitoes. And if last year's numbers are any indication, we could be in for another historic and long mosquito season.
By the end of the season, August, September, normally we would be getting 20, 30, and in September things really start to decrease. But this last year, because of the flooding that we had, we hit the highest number we'd ever seen, and I think it was like 17,000 mosquitoes in one trap, which was absolutely enormous, you know, kind of off the scale.
That flooding made the perfect habitat for mosquitoes, especially for the ones Paskowitz calls the big biters.
So all those mosquitoes were out there feeding then in the late season and also laying their eggs. And that's the egg bank that we're looking at, you know, potentially hatching over these next few weeks.
While many had hoped the polar vortex would have killed off some of the mosquitoes we're expecting to wake up now, Paskowitz is convinced those big biters probably survived.
There was quite a bit of snow cover, and usually down there where the eggs are under the snow, getting through the winter, it's a lot warmer than it is out just in the air temperature.
She says those big nuisance bugs might just be showing up a little earlier this year.
Paskowitz says although some people think Listerine, putting vanilla behind your ears, or eating more bananas will help keep mosquitoes away, repellent is the best option. There's even an app that claims to scare mosquitoes away. Her class has tested it, and they could not find any proof that that actually works. So don't go with the app.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Amanda. Authorities in Manitowoc say 3 people were found dead inside a home on Sunday night. Around 7 o'clock last night, police responded to a home in the city of Kiel for a medical call. When they arrived, they found 3 bodies inside. The Department of Justice is now leading the investigation. Police say there is no threat to the public. An update tonight out of Rock County. A 14-year-old girl killed in a canoeing accident over the weekend has been identified. The Rock County Medical Examiner says Grace Gordon of Janesville was part of 8 kids canoeing on the Yahara River Saturday when they capsized. She was pinned between a canoe and a submerged log. Rock County troopers tried to help but say the current was too strong. She later died at the hospital. This summer, the agencies that responded to the canoe accident want others to be mindful of the water. If you're going out on a kayak, canoe, or any other boat, make sure you're wearing a life jacket. The Wisconsin DNR also recommends you have a throw bag in case anyone who you're with falls in the water and needs help getting out.
Every canoe and every kayak should have one of these attached Basically, this provides a lifeline to somebody that's in the water. Perhaps they fell out of a canoe, fell off the bank, and they're in the river, and you need an opportunity to get to them without going in the water yourself.
The Dodge County Medical Examiner says a Sun Prairie man is dead after a crash last night. The 24-year-old was driving on Highway 151 near the town of Trenton when he collided head-on with another vehicle driven by a 39-year-old from Beaver Dam. The Beaver Dam man was flown by Flight for Life to Aurora Hospital in Summit. Authorities say the crash is still under investigation, but alcohol was likely a factor. Iowa County authorities are looking for a teenage boy who may have run away from home. Zachary Limix was last seen at home yesterday morning in Spring Green. The 16-year-old reportedly went to a neighboring farm to help with chores, but he never came back. However, the Iowa County Sheriff says he was reported to be seen on a paddle boat on the Wisconsin River yesterday. His family says he has run away before, but never for more than 24 hours. The sheriff's office noted he did not take his wallet or his medications. So if you see Zachary Limix, you are asked to call police. At the Wisconsin State Capitol this morning, people gathered to remember the fallen and honor veterans and current members of the military. Hundreds of people attended the Capitol Rotunda for the ceremony. It started with a VFW Post 1318 band concert. The event also had guest speakers. Those who attended said the ceremony did not leave out any service member.
My father was a veteran, and obviously I'm a veteran, and we have to keep in mind those people that went before us. That's why we're here.
According to the Madison Veterans Council, more than 200 veterans in Madison have died in the last year. In Fitchburg, people were also remembering the fallen with a ceremony at the fire station. The Oregon-Brooklyn American Legion Post 160 Honor Guard led the ceremony. Veteran and current Fitchburg Alder Janelle Rice was the keynote speaker. She spoke about the military's commitment to service before self.
It doesn't matter if you were file clerk, pilot, Army Ranger, medic, or what you did. We all understood that every one of our jobs mattered. Every one of us relied on the others, and others were depending on us to do our job correctly.
Fitchburg Mayor Aaron Richardson also spoke during the gathering. Another ceremony today hopes to spread the message of peace on Memorial Day. Members of the organization Madison Area Veterans for Peace hosted a peace rally this afternoon at the Gates of Heaven Synagogue. The annual event hopes to shed light on the cost of war and invite lawmakers to find peaceful ways to solve global conflicts.
Our mission is the abolition of wars, which is a rather ambitious mission.
In addition to the ceremony, the organization has installed a mile-long display with 6,000 simulated grave markers along Atwood Avenue at Old Brick Park. Organizers hope the display brings attention to the ongoing wars around the world. American Legion Post 151 held their own Memorial Day ceremony at Sunset Memory Gardens. Organizers placed a memorial wreath complete with a firing squad and the playing of taps. Army Captain Steve Belger spoke to those there about his experience in the Army. He said he was assigned a very special duty, a survival assistance officer.
Most people are not ready to plan a funeral for their young sons, daughters, husbands, or wives. In the Army, a survival assistance officer, NCO, not currently called the Casualty Assistance Officer, is assigned to help the family.
As a survival assistance officer, he helped countless families in Wisconsin come to terms with the death of their loved ones every step of the way. Belger said he wanted to emphasize how much the military does for their own. Next on News 3 Now at 10, dangerous weather was seen this weekend up and down the United States. We'll recap that and also tell you what you can expect in southern Wisconsin this week. Observances were held across the nation this Memorial Day to honor the men and women in uniform who gave their lives. At Arlington National Cemetery, President Trump placed flags on military graves last week before heading to Japan. That left Vice President Mike Pence to preside over today's Arlington cemeteries.
This Memorial Day, let every American renew our commitment to do our duty, to never fail to remember what they've done for us.
Veterans laid wreaths at the World War II Memorial in Washington, and soldiers stood by the names of their fallen brothers and sisters in arms at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. President Trump says he is not concerned with recent North Korea short-range missile tests. Those short-range missiles are well within reach of Japan, where the president is taking part in a 4-day state visit. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe called the test regrettable, and the president's own national security advisor, John Bolton, says they violate UN sanctions.
My people think it could have been a violation, as you know. I view it differently. I view it as a man, perhaps he wants to get attention, and perhaps not. Who knows?
President Trump will visit a Japanese naval base tonight to visit sailors before heading home. Shark warnings are up in Hawaii this morning after a deadly attack there. A witness says a shark bit off the leg of Thomas Smiley, a California man who was swimming off the coast of Maui Saturday. He was swimming about 60 yards off the beach. Horrified beachgoers watched as rescuers pulled him out of the water.
It appeared Dr. Smiley had been bitten by a shark while swimming 60 yards off the beach in Maui.
First responders tried to resuscitate him, but Smiley died on the scene. Hawaii has the second most unprovoked shark attacks on record in the U.S. Florida is first. One expert says new laws protecting some large sharks have caused their populations to increase, and swimmers need to be more aware of their surroundings. Violent storms are ravaging communities in the nation's midsection. Tornadoes struck in Iowa and Illinois, and more may fire up tonight. In 4 states, rivers are rising to near record levels. Omar Villafranca is in storm-ravaged El Reno, Oklahoma.
Ominous clouds unleashed a pounding hailstorm near Chicago. It brought down power lines and this gas station canopy in the town of Alsip, crushing the passenger side of the car.
The driver was in the car when it did collapse. Once the canopy stopped moving, he got out of the driver's side and walked into the gas station, so he got very lucky.
Sirens warned of a tornado on the northern Illinois-Indiana border, and a second tornado touched down in Iowa. In the past week, at least 15 people have been killed by tornadoes and flooding across the nation's midsection. Rivers are rising to near record levels, threatening homes and businesses in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. The mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma, is urging residents who live near a Tulsa County levee along the Arkansas River to evacuate now.
Folks that live along the Arkansas River corridor, that have property along the Arkansas River corridor, need to be preparing for the worst and hoping for the best.
Downstream near Fort Smith, Arkansas, the river has reached historic levels, and it's not expected to crest until Wednesday, 20 feet above flood stage. Over the weekend, an EF3 tornado packing winds up to 165 miles per hour cut through El Reno, Oklahoma, killing 2 and injuring more than 25.
Just unbelievable that, that a tornado can do this type of damage. It doesn't do it justice when you see it on TV. I mean, it's just unbelievable anybody could survive.
Cleanup continues today, and there are more severe storms in the forecast for later this week. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, El Reno, Oklahoma.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us now, and we really have to count our blessings.
We did, we were kind of in the middle today. I mean, there was severe weather to our south and also to our west that was a little more unexpected, but we'll have to keep our weather eye up to the sky for tomorrow because there's the possibility there could be some severe weather. Let's start out by taking a look, first of all, at the time lapse from the WISC Sky Cam. A little bit of sun on the eastern horizon early this morning gave way to clouds. The cloud cover kept our temperatures down, and so even though we had some showers, a couple of thunderstorms, it actually stayed pretty quiet for much of the day until late in the afternoon. Then the clouds started to break, but by that time the atmosphere starts to cool down as the sun gets closer to sunset, and so that kept the severe weather away from southern Wisconsin. Different story to our south and also to our west. Severe thunderstorms started producing tornadoes in Iowa around noon, and then those storms just tracked eastward through the Chicago area. A number of tornado and high wind reports there and into northern Indiana. Look at all the tornado reports just from this evening. And then out to the west, on the backside of the storm system, there was we have what we call a lot of wind shear. So this area, the atmospheric instability was not as much, but it was very conducive to causing rotating thunderstorms. And tornadoes touched down near Charles City, Iowa, and then tracked into southeastern portions of Minnesota, causing quite a bit of damage. Now, most of the rain has left southern Wisconsin, shifting off into northern Michigan. To our south and west, not much happening. So I think much of the rest of tonight and tomorrow should be relatively dry before the next batch of showers and storms moves on through. Now, there is a severe weather threat for tomorrow. The highest severe weather threat farther to our south and west, an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms over southwestern Iowa, a slight risk into far southwestern Wisconsin, and then a marginal risk into the Madison area. And then we also could be looking at some heavy rainfall, generally around a ½ inch to an inch. This is all the way through the end of the week. But notice those heavier totals to the south across Iowa and Illinois, where there may be several rounds of thunderstorms over the next few days that could bring an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain and more problems with flooding. So we do have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow, mainly for tomorrow evening, any thunderstorm that could produce heavy rain. And then there's also an outside risk that these storms could produce hail, high winds, and maybe even an isolated tornado. The best chances of that happening will be down toward the Illinois state line, probably tomorrow evening. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Pretty quiet here. We're waiting to see if some fog forms. Our low this morning, 55 degrees, but our high below normal at 66. Right now, we're sitting at 65, but notice the humidity at 93%. Winds are from the south-southwest as they shift around to the north and northeast later on tonight. It'll start to cool down, and we'll see some areas of fog form. High temperatures stayed in the 40s up near Lake Superior, but we're close to 80 over parts of southwestern Wisconsin and did hit the 80s over parts of northwestern Illinois and eastern Iowa. Right now, temperatures range from the low 40s in northern Wisconsin to the 70s still near the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. But the main part of the storm system is shifting to the east, but the next storm system is waiting in the wings as this powerful jet stream remains in the same configuration, kicking out storms at about 1 to 2 day intervals, and we're right in that path. That's why we've been seeing these periods of showers and storms. So while tonight's weather moves eastward, the next batch starting to develop out here will be here probably late tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night. Cold front will come through late tonight, then the front becomes stationary into an area of low pressure out to the west, and again, that low pressure system following right along the jet stream will bring the rain back in the contrast zone between temperatures that are still well into the 70s to the south and are staying in the 40s up near the U.S.-Canadian border. So our forecast for the overnight hours calls for cloudy skies, just an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm, but some patchy fog forming with a low of 56. Tomorrow, another cool day with a high of 66. It'll be dry for much of the day, maybe a shower or thunderstorm chance late in the afternoon. The better chances tomorrow night. So on future track, the rain gets out of here tonight. The clouds stay, so do some areas of fog. Tomorrow will be dry for much of the day, but after those highs get the mid-60s, notice the shower and thunderstorm chances tomorrow night. Those will move on out, and then on Wednesday, just a spotty shower or thunderstorm, but at least temperatures will be back up into the lower 70s. Those rainfall amounts heaviest down toward the Illinois state line, maybe an additional inch over the next 48 hours. North of Madison, much lighter amounts. 7 to 10 day forecast, look at those temperatures back into the 70s, between 70 and 75. Temperature-wise, I mean, that's feeling very comfortable. We don't need much more rain. We do have a couple of chances in there, but it's much more spotty once we get past tomorrow. So some good news there, but boy, we could use just a week to dry out.
I was going to say,
perfect if
yeah,
we could.
that would be nice. Gary, thank you.
Sure.
The Brewers were down early, but battling back against the Twins. We'll have the highlights next in sports.
Well, the Brewers and Twins, two of the most prolific home run hitting teams in Major League Baseball, facing off tonight. Twins coming into this series with a 6-game win streak. But the Brewers, they got themselves out of a hole, down 4-0 until the third inning. Orlando Arcia going deep to center field. That's an RBI double. Brewers on the board. Fast forward to the 8th, Brew Crew cutting the lead to 1 run. Arcia, have a day. 2-run home run. Brewers take the lead and win 5-4, the final score. Cubs on the road as well. They're in Houston today. Anthony Rizzo getting the Cubs off to a quick lead. 2-run home run to start, and at 2-0 Cubs on the board first. The Astros answer, though, and more. But in the 9th, Addison Russell with a solo shot off of Roberto Osuna. It's a 1-run game, but Osuna would hang on later, striking out Javi Baez. Cubs lose 6-5. Some good news and progress for Badgers men's basketball assistant coach Howard Moore. He's now up and walking around at the hospital today, and his son Jarrell has been released from the hospital. He's staying with family. The Moore family was in a car crash early Saturday morning that killed Coach Moore's wife Jennifer and daughter. It happened near Ann Arbor, Michigan, when a 23-year-old woman was driving the wrong way and crashed head-on with Moore's car. There's been an outpouring of support across the country, and the Badger Athletic Department asking for continued thoughts and prayers for the entire Moore family. The Bucks wrapping up their season today, one last time to reflect on the year with reporters. Giannis dropping some knowledge bombs, saying that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. This will motivate me, but I love it. The Bucks finishing the season with a 60-22 record, runners up in the Eastern Conference with a first-year head coach and first-year arena. Players very positive today about the season and looking ahead to how much better they can be next year.
I think it was a great season still. 16-win season. Now, a lot of teams have done that before. Got to the conference finals and just fell short. I mean, it's tough the way we went out, how we did, but I'm still proud of the season that we had as a whole.
I think for me, from like you said, an atmosphere of a home, the guys that I played with this year, the guys on this team, I'd go to war for. Each and every single one of them. And I think that's the unique part about this team is that, roster 1 through 15, Bled, Brooke, Chris, Giannis, everyone, I'd do whatever they needed me to do to try to help win a game and beyond, far away from basketball.
Now, the Bucks may be done playing basketball, but there are some moments that will certainly be remembered from this playoff season in Milwaukee, namely perhaps the chugging contest among David Bakhtiari, Aaron Rodgers, and Christian Yelich. And today, George Hill making a pretty big claim about his skills.
I'm probably top 10 shotgunner of all time, probably. I'll for sure beat him, for sure. We'll have a battle, but I got to get to Lambeau first.
Now, that was earlier today, and Bakhtiari's already responded on Twitter. He said, quote, "Challenge accepted, your move." We'll be right back.
Gary's back with the final check.
Well, the rest of the showers are leaving southern Wisconsin to our north and to our east. I think just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm overnight. Temperatures are mild now, but they'll cool off overnight. Look for a high of 66 tomorrow, and a possibility for some severe weather tomorrow evening. And then after that, temperatures between about 70 and 75, and the chances for rain go down.
Yay! Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Now.